and welcome! My name is Anna and we are Danish Accounting. Today we are diving into the essentials of paying taxes for employees in Denmark. Understanding the Danish tax system can be challenging, especially with its constant updates and reforms. We are here to break down the key points you need to know, from the basics of payroll taxation to the specific steps and considerations for compliance. Whether you are a business owner, an HR professional, or just curious about the process, stay tuned as we simplify the complexities of employee taxation in Denmark. First, you must ensure your business register as an employer. An employer registration generally requires a registration to pay a tax, AM contribution, and ATP. Employer registration should be done before you start paying salaries. As an employer in Denmark, you must withhold two types of tax from the payroll on your employees' behalf. We call one of these withholding taxes for a tax. The A tax rate depends on the employee's situation and is not a fixed rate. Also, a special contribution called AM contribution with a fixed rate of 8% must be withheld. Both of these are considered withholding taxes. In daily talk, these withholding taxes are often referred to as employee tax or tax as a whole in the context of payroll. The Danish Tax Agency calculates the amount of tax to withhold from the payroll in advance based on the employee's self-assessment. Once the employee is registered correctly in the payroll system, the tax withholding information is automatically sent directly to the payroll system. When we receive your payroll information, we calculate the salary for your employees and the amount of tax you need to withhold. After we have completed these calculations, we will email you the payslips for your approval. The payslips shows the gross salary, the withholding taxes, and the net salary that should be transferred to the employees' bank accounts. We also track and calculate ATP, unused holidays, holiday allowance, reimbursements, pensions, and other payroll requirements relevant to your business. If you have signed a collective agreement with a trade union, be aware that you can have many payroll requirements that are not governed by law, but by the collective agreement, including, but not limited to, extra holidays, holiday allowances, pensions, and more. Collective agreements are not required by law, but some industries, especially the construction industry, have traditions for them. In Denmark, most employers pay salaries on the last banking day of the month. This payment term isn't required by law, but is the customary pay date. The net salary is usually transferred automatically from the payroll system to the employees if you have a Danish business bank account. You manually transfer the net salary to the employees if you have a foreign business bank account, Revolut or Wise. Generally, withheld taxes are due for payment on the 10th of the following months for smaller businesses and companies, except in January each year, where the payment terms is 1 week longer. Larger employers generally need to pay withholding taxes on the last banking day of the month. In this context, a small employer pays less than 250,000 Danish crowns annually in AM contribution and less than 1 million Danish crowns in A tax. In this context, a large employer pays 250 Danish crowns or more in AM contribution or 1 million Danish crowns or more in A tax annually. If you have a Danish business bank account, the withholding tax is transferred automatically from the payroll system to the Danish Tax Agency. If you have a foreign business bank account, Revolut or Wise, you manually transfer tax to the business's skattekonto, the special tax account the Danish Tax Agency has allocated to your business. Denmark's income tax system is progressive, so no fixed tax rate applies to everyone. Income taxes depend on personal circumstances. Some employees pay a higher tax rate, while others pay a lower one. As an employer, you automatically receive relevant tax information on employees' tax rates from the Danish Tax Agency in the payroll system. The rate for AM contribution is 8% for all employees. An employee is required to use one of 3 different tax cards. A tax card is just information sent electronically to the payroll system from the Danish Tax Agency, which determines how the employer should calculate the tax for each employee. The main tax card is passed to the principal employer. The secondary tax card is passed to a secondary employer when relevant. The third tax card is a tax-exempt card, which is used if the expected annual income is below the threshold that will require the employee to pay income tax. The tax-exempt card is relevant mainly to younger employees with a part-time job and low incomes next to their studies. In Denmark, we don't have a minimum salary requirement set by legislation. However, some companies have collective agreements with trade unions. These collective agreements are not mandatory, but are expected in some industries, especially construction ones. Collective agreements can include a minimum salary. Without a collective agreement, you and the employee can decide the salary. You don't need to pay additional social security contributions in Denmark as an employer. Social security for the employee is included in the withholding tax. However, you do have to pay some smaller mandatory insurance fees and social costs. There is also a tiny mandatory pensions called ATP. Besides the ATP, there is no requirement to pay additional pensions. For high-salaried employees, pensions are often offered as part of the remuneration package. Your employees generally have the right to use 5 weeks of holiday per year, or what equals 25 days, earned with 2.08 days per month of employment. Employees are entitled to a full salary during their holiday plus 1% of their annual salary as a holiday allowance, or they are entitled to 12.5% of their annual salary as a holiday allowance if they don't get a salary during their holiday. You pay the 1% holiday allowance when they use their holiday, or in 2 installments in May, for a holiday earned from September to May, and August, for a holiday earned from June to August. You pay the 12.5% holiday allowance when the employee is using holiday. The type of holiday allowance they earn is based on their work and how they are employed. You should consult with an accountant or lawyer to determine what type of employees you have. For smaller businesses and companies, we recommend using Danlone as your payroll system. Danlone is a solid choice if you have typical payslips. For larger businesses and companies that require more customized payslips, we recommend Datalone. We can assist you in setting up the payroll system as part of our payroll service. It is mandatory to have employment contracts for your employees. Non-compliance can result in hefty fines. And that wraps up our guide in paying taxes for employees in Denmark. We have covered the crucial steps and essential updates you need to be aware of to ensure compliance and smooth payroll operations. Remember, staying informed and proactive in managing employee taxes keeps you compliant and supports your workforce's well-being. Thank you for watching. Please don't hesitate to contact our team to help navigating these processes effectively. Thank you for watching. My name is Anna. We are Danish Accounting.